too many interests. The psychology of the scattered mind. You have 17 browser tabs open. Each one is something you wanted to learn. Guitar, Italian, astrophysics, pottery, code. You started all of them, finished none of them. And now you're wondering if something's wrong with you. Spoiler, there isn't. But your brain is doing something fascinating. Every few weeks, you fall in love with something new. The feeling is electric. This could be it, the thing that finally sticks. You buy the books, watch the tutorials, clear your schedule. For 3 days, you're obsessed. You can't think about anything else. You go to bed dreaming about it. Wake up energized to continue. But then, week 2 arrives. The novelty fades. The initial rush is gone. And suddenly, it feels like work. So you drift to the next thing, the next spark, and the cycle repeats. Meanwhile, you watch other people master one thing. They have their thing, their identity, their expertise. And you're a collector of half-started dreams, a graveyard of potential. At least, that's how it feels. But here's what's actually happening. You're not lazy. You're not commitment phobic. You're not broken. Your brain is wired differently, and psychology has a name for it. Meet the multipotentialite. The term comes from psychologist and career counselor Emily Wapnick. She studies people whose brains light up for variety, not depth. Not because they lack discipline, but because their cognitive reward system is calibrated differently. Most people get sustained dopamine from mastery, the slow burn of getting better at one thing over time. But multipotentialites get dopamine from novelty, from learning curves, from synthesis, from connecting disparate ideas. Neuroscientist Dr. Jaak Panksepp identified this as the seeking system. It's a brain circuit that drives exploration, and in some people, it's unusually strong. You're not failing at focus. You're succeeding at exploration. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem isn't you. It's that you're trying to thrive in a system built for specialists. Let's talk about why your interests fade. It's not fickleness, it's learning saturation. When you start something new, your brain is in acquisition mode. Every piece of information is novel. Your hippocampus, the learning center, is firing rapidly. Dopamine floods your system. This is the honeymoon phase. But here's the catch. Once your brain extracts the pattern, the novelty drops. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi studied this in his work on flow states. He found that engagement peaks when challenge slightly exceeds skill. Too hard, anxiety. Too easy, boredom. But multipotentialites have a unique problem. They learn the foundational patterns fast, so they hit the boredom threshold before they hit mastery. Not because they're lazy, but because their brain has already answered the question it wanted to answer. How does this work? Once the mystery is solved, the seeking system moves on. It's looking for the next pattern to decode, the next system to understand. This is why you can get obsessed with how engines work, then move to how languages are structured, then to how ecosystems balance. You're not collecting hobbies, you're collecting mental models, and your brain craves the diversity. Psychologist Scott Barry Kaufman calls this cognitive flexibility, the ability to think across domains, to borrow frameworks from one field and apply them to another. It's not a weakness, it's a rare cognitive advantage, but only if you stop trying to be someone you're not. So how do you work with your brain instead of against it? Not by forcing yourself to commit, but by designing a life that feeds your need for variety. Here are 4 psychological principles to guide you. Stop trying to find the one thing. Accept that you're a rotator. Psychologist Barbara Scher calls this scanning. You scan until something catches your interest. You dive in, extract what you need, then you scan again. The trick, give yourself permission to cycle back. You don't have to finish guitar in 3 months. You can play for a season, rest, return next year. Your interests aren't dead, they're dormant. And dormancy isn't failure, it's how forests regenerate. Keep a rotation list, 3 to 5 interests you cycle through. When one goes cold, you have others to turn to. No guilt, no pressure, just natural rhythm. Your superpower isn't variability, it's connection. Psychologist Howard Gardner's research on multiple intelligences shows that innovation happens at intersections. The designer who understands psychology, the programmer who studies music theory, the writer who learns neuroscience. These combinations are rare and valuable. Stop measuring yourself against specialists. Start asking, what can I combine? What principles from photography apply to writing? What principles from cooking apply to project management? This is called associative thinking, and that's how breakthroughs happen. Your scattered interests aren't random, they're material. Structure doesn't have to mean rigidity. Psychologist Dr. Timothy Pickles' research on procrastination shows that people with diverse interests thrive with flexible systems, not strict schedules, but adaptable frameworks. Example, every Monday I explore. What you explore changes, but the habit stays. This gives you novelty within structure. Your brain gets variety, but also predictability. Another approach, January through March, design. April through June, writing. July through September, music. You're not abandoning anything. You're giving each interest dedicated space, and your brain knows it'll come around. Society says climb one ladder, but you're building a web, and webs don't have summits, they have connections. Psychologist Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset applies here. Stop asking, am I good at this yet? Start asking, what did I learn from this? Every interest you explore adds a node to your web, and the more nodes you have, the more valuable your thinking becomes, because you can see patterns others miss. You can translate between worlds. That's not dilettantism, that's integrative expertise, and it's increasingly valuable in a world that's too complex for any single lens. Here's the mental model that brings it all together. Specialist brain, one deep well, maximum depth, narrow scope. Multipotentialite brain, network of springs, less depth per spring, but vast underground connections. Both are valuable. Both are legitimate. The question isn't which is better, it's which is you. And if you're someone whose curiosity won't stay in one lane, if you get bored after you understand the system, if your bookshelf looks like a library explosion, you're not scattered, you're a synthesizer. Your job isn't to narrow down, it's to connect across, to build bridges between islands of knowledge, to see what specialists can't because they're too deep in their wells. You don't need to pick one thing. You never did. The world told you focus is the only way, but focus is a way, not the way. Your interests aren't distractions, they're your language, the way you make sense of the world. And the world needs people who can translate. So stop apologizing for your curiosity. Stop forcing yourself into boxes built for someone else. The depth will come, not from one well, but from the aquifer beneath them all. You're not too much. You're just right.